Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the live AV stream. Welcome back to another CranKy Duckling broadcast. Welcome back and welcome to something a little bit different, something special. Welcome back to a monthly tournament that we host here. I say monthly tournament that we host. Shout out to uThermal. uThermal has been hosting these 2v2 tournaments on a monthly basis. Now we are here once again with uThermal's 2v2 circuit with the April edition. I'm of course just like VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to a 2v2 tournament. Again, 2v2 has been on the rise over the past 6 months. I want to say that Wardy was also hosting a lot of team game tournaments, especially during the off season of EPT. But now that we're in the on season, of course, has been focusing on all the Wardy spring championships and of the like. But uThermal is still running these events, and what is amazing is that all the pro players, or at least a lot of them, most of them, have been indulging and taking part, pairing up with their friends and competing on a regular basis. If you missed out on the previous editions on the March, February, January, that I do recommend the VODs over on YouTube. It has been a lot of fun to see players like Clem, Trigger, Cyril, Zhuge alongside many others take part. Let's go. Let us go. Speaking of, we're going to be jumping into our first series here of the broadcast. Now, this is a replay cast, bear that in mind. This event happened last week. We were actually there at the time covering the event in a different way. We were adminning. So shout out to the admin team, myself, Kuro, Kerwin as well. We do admin the event to make sure that everything runs smoothly as possible. Because we're adminning, it does mean that we cannot cast it live, but we're able to cover it via replays. So it's all good. Get to cover it via replays, cover it here and now instead. And we have our first series. Our first series of the broadcast. It is going to be a best of 3 between uThermal Goblin up against Tiger and Replicant. Let's go. Let's go. I believe they did actually face off last month. I believe last month they did actually face off as well. We'll see how they compare to each other this time. Oh. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Undercurrent, we have the duo themselves. We have the red Terran player from the Netherlands living in the land of Mexico alongside his teammate, likewise the Croatian Protoss. It is Goblin and uThermal. Casting doesn't like 2v2s. But spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have their opponent. We have the blue duo. There we go. The blue duo here of Tiger and Replicant. Let us go. And again, Tiger and Replicant, they have been competing together quite often in these monthly 2v2 events as well. And I may be mistaken, but I want to say that they may have brought down Goblin and uThermal last month. I believe they may have been able to bring them down. So we'll see how they compare this time as well. So once again, Protoss Terran versus Protoss Terran. This is kind of the, I would say, meta, or believed to be the strongest kind of team duo is a Terran and a Protoss working together. Their cohesion is a little bit stronger than that of Zerg, I would say. I think one of the issues with Zerg in this matchup, one, the amount of bases you can take, and the amount of momentum you can get by expanding, by taking more bases, by having your production being limited by less bases as well, like can impact Zerg players in 2v2 a little more negatively. Likewise, I mean, when it comes to 2v2, they don't really have as much cohesion with the other teams. There are exceptions, and we have seen players like Cyril do quite well. But even then, if you recall, Cyril stopped playing Zerg in 2v2s and started playing Protoss, where they used to have a ZVZ duo with Cyril and Zhuge, and of course in recent times Cyril switched to Protoss for 2v2, of course, and now we have Protoss Zerg instead at times. And when it comes to like the kind of ideal meta play style, Mech and Skytoss is it can be quite daunting if we can get to that kind of game state. First things first, we do see Tiger going for a proxy pylon elsewhere on the map. Does set up the proxy. Meanwhile, we have our initial openers here. We do have a double gas opener out of uThermal. Interesting. So double gas into a faster factory, into a delayed TC from the side of our Terran player. We do have a more economic opener out of Goblin, going for a Stargate opener himself. Meanwhile, across the map, likewise, similarly, we have an economic opener out of our Protoss player. And likewise, we have, CC on the high ground here from our blue Terran. So again, he does go for a more economic start as opposed to uThermal, but the CC is going to be on the high ground. Eventually will be taken here on the low ground. Let's go. Let us go. Does take a bit to actually like settle in and to try to keep track of what all the players are up to. So again, we do see the blue team being more economic in general here. We do have uThermal being more aggressive, now going for more delayed CC. Double Reaper into the main base, and the Reapers they will get a scout off. They will confirm the faster command center, and the Reapers they have to get the hell out of here. Oh, they double back in, and up. They are able to avoid the initial units, at least for a time. Does pull out, does get away. Ooh, meanwhile, that is going to be a Stargate follow-up here from Tiger. Tiger does go for his follow-up Stargate. Depth does shade away. Proxy across the map, going for a proxy gateway to reinforce. Reapers going back in. Again, they're just keeping tabs here on the players. I believe the Reapers may have seen the Stargate. Yeah, they did see the Stargate. They are aware. Thermal does pull away. Behind this, speaking of mech that we mentioned earlier, we do have Macville accelerators and cyclones on the way for uThermal. Likewise, they did find the proxy pylon. Oracle into the main. Nice damage, getting one, getting two workers, but the cyclone will shut this down. Not before killing another couple of workers. That's going to be 7 kills. Yeah, 7 probe kills, not bad at all. Nice damage dealt there by the Oracle. Stoker's going to be forced back. Are going to be forced back at the same time. We're looking at going in for his drop. So far, Goblin, he's somewhat keeping up. Does zone away the medevac, not bad. Does zone away. Cyclones are right, they shut down the medevac. Ooh, Replicant, he did overextend. Did overcommit. Meanwhile, the gateway is done. We are reinforcing across the map. Both Tiger and Replicant, they're just sending everything they can. They did go for the Oracle. And they're still making more. More Oracles on the way out. They do rally into the Cyclones. Likewise, Tiger taking over the low ground, catching out SCVs. And uThermal, his economy is being hindered here, but their army is, I would say, greater. They can clean this up. Catching out more Stalkers, one Cyclone goes down. Oh, getting a second. They do trade out some Cyclones. And then Tiger will lose his army. And now Replicant is on his own. He's on his own. He's got his Siege, he's got a tank, he's got a Liberator as well. He does have a decent position here, but he has no support. Yo, we got the slow lots. Let's go. Slow lots are whirling in. Also, yes, there are like non-stop dinosaur sounds. Yeah, coming up from here. God damn it. Every time. They're very loud. Very loud. But I do appreciate this that they back off. Again, like this position just isn't really too robust, considering how few units there are to protect said siege tank and Liberator. So Replicant does pull away. Likewise, so does Tiger. And as it settles, where exactly are we? Now we have mech. We have mech coming out from our Terran player, going into a more tank Viking or tank Liberator heavy composition. A bit of a slower style of mech is what I will say. Likewise, from the side of our Protoss player is going into, I believe, no, Twilight Council actually. A really odd setup here, going into Immortals early on. Well, here comes the counterattack. Oh, pushing into 3 tanks. That's not going to happen. Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, the tank line here is solid for Replicant. But what I will say about uThermal and Goblin doing a great job here at just containing. Scan into the main, they blink in, they go for the pylon, go for the robo even. A massive snipe. As they will not get it. Replicant keeps up. Back at home, third base on the way for Goblin. Likewise, third base on the way for uThermal as well, going for the gold. Again, now they've gained map control, they are making just full use of that. And that is also the problem here of going for this slower form of mech, is that you have no map presence. You're stuck at home, you're stuck turtling. The army is just very immobile. Very immobile. Same can be said here for the Protoss player as well. Without a blink, without charge, without even double Stargate Phoenix, like this is also a very slow style, very slow composition. Almost as if Tiger is also playing quote-unquote mech from the Protoss side. Very robo heavy. So they're stuck at home. With this, the blue team is stuck at home. The red team is free to fully saturate on 3 bases, even get another expansion from here. We have glaives on the way, so it's going to be an immortal glaive all in from the side of Tiger. Interesting. We have seen this in 1v1s, of course. We'll see Replicant attempting to expand. SV is going to be going down. So far, good trades here from Goblin. Just picking away at the economy. Punishing his opponent. Behind this, it is mech from uThermal as well, but again, a much more of a battle mech composition instead, much more mobile. And again, mass gateway army here for Goblin. Blink Stalker into charge lots, into +2. Temple Archives is done for a couple of Archons. And we'll see how these 2 armies compare. I'll be honest, in a head-on fight, I do favor our blue team here. Like, going into mass tank, mass immortal is terrifying. Now, the best way to deal with this would be with mass charge loss, and unfortunately, from the side of Mark, from the side of uThermal, I'm feeling going into mass tank production himself. Yeah, tanks, some of them are on the way, but still mainly Cyclone. I'll be honest, I have a hard time seeing Cyclones doing much, trying to break this position. There are just so many tanks and immortals. I say I have a hard time seeing them do much. I think uThermal has to be reliant here on charge lots, on those Zealots tanking the first wave of shots to allow these Cyclones to get lock-ons. So we rotate. Delaying mining. Replicant pushing through the center. How many tanks did he have? 11. 11 tanks moving in. uThermal does get thrown away. At the same time, Goblin does find 3 tanks. Not bad. And again, these are the kind of moves we have to go for here. As 3 tanks go down, likewise another 2 tanks going down here by the hands of uThermal. Remember, they have the more mobile armies, have to pick off and take these opportunities to catch a couple of tanks here and there, pick away at the army. In a head-on fight, they will lose. Here, catching out more adepts. Stalker's coming back in, and once again looking for another opportunity. Looking for some more stray units. And this style that Tiger and Replicant are going for is disgusting. Just going mass tank immortal. Jesus. And here we go. He's now moving in. Do we commit to the shade? The mine's just going to be going off. Adepts are going to be shut down. Tanks are moving in. The tank line here from uThermal, not as robust. Yeah, the army's pushing in. We spoke about it earlier. Nice around with the Zealots, though. Yeah, the Zealots have the MVPs. Goblin gets a full surround, cleans up all the tanks, collapse on top of the Immortals as well. And there was no answer to these charge lots, as with that, a Goblin and uThermal will take game 1. Hi. GG. They will take the first game. They will take a lead in the series. Oh my god. GG well played. And again, just like against regular mech, charge lots do a great job at not just tanking shots, but also closing the distance and getting on top of the army. So thankfully, Goblin was able to get that surround off. If it wasn't for those Zealots, I'll be honest, like, again, you saw the tank Immortal just mowing through that main army, pushing into the bases. It's a very, very robust force. But again, there was no splash damage. This is where, personally, I think it might be a little bit better if we have one player... Yeah, if you have one player going mech like that, referring to Replicants, embracing like pure mech, going into mass tank, mass tank heli, mass tank liberator, I do think it might be better if the Protoss teammate does go into Colossus instead of Immortals, just because it feels like they both have the same role, and something like Colossus, or I say Colossus, splash damage, whether it's Colossus, whether it's Archons instead, something to help support, something to help protect those tanks. Immortals have the same weakness as tanks, is what I'm getting at. Immortals and tanks, they kind of have the same role, where they're both like these very high impact units with a lower rate of fire, and because of that, they're vulnerable to things like Zealots. So it felt like Goblin was free to go into the same composition to deal with the same 2 armies in a way. Which ideally, I think you want to have your army be a little bit more complex and make it more difficult to counter with different forms of units, of course, and of course being able to support each other. But with that, GG. With that, GG, well played. uThermal and Goblin take game number 1, and now we are jumping into game number 2. Let's go. Game 2 going to be on Rascallion, one of the older maps in the 2v2 map pool. It's been a while. been around for a long time. And here we go, spawning in the top left hand corner, we have our red team. We have the red Terran player from land of from the uThermal, from land of the Netherlands, living land of Mexico, alongside the Croatian Protoss. It is Goblin and uThermal. uThermal. Once spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the blue team. We have the Protoss and Terran. We have Tiger and Replicant. For CSO Esports and for Team Hassel players. I believe Team Hassel. Oh, here we go. But again, welcome one and all to Rascallion. It has been a while since this map has not been in the 2v2 map pool. This is one of the older maps out there. Played plenty of games on this in many years past. Been a long time, Pappy. Been a long time. As workers do move out, have to scout each other. One of the unique features about this map is that the natural bases are shared. So we have our natural bases here, both in the same area, both covered by the same ramp. Likewise, the third bases are a little bit more isolated from each other, a little bit, as we do expand vertically downwards towards the map. But main bases are shared and natural bases are also shared. So it is difficult to be overly aggressive and to commit to an all-in on this map, just because, you know, you're quite secure and you're able to help defend your partner in the same area. So we are settling in. Once again, double gas opener out of the uThermal. This time, double gas opener out of a Replicant as well. So both players going into faster factories. Both players mirroring each other at the moment. We did see mech from both players last game, but very different forms of mech. We have uThermal going for a more mobile army, and Replicant trying to slow things down. We'll see how they adjust. uThermal's going to be forced back. Both players going to be expanding. uThermal's on location. Meanwhile, we just see Replicant with the high ground CC. Just a small variation here. So uThermal being a little bit greedier. Both players being active on the map. Replicant's looking for a way across. And does bypass the army. Heads into the natural and can start to threaten Goblin. So they'll slip in. So far picking up a couple workers. 1-2 probes going down at the same time. uThermal and Goblin, they get across the map. They get across, they don't really find too much. Shield battery is done. It's going to be a robot opener once again by Tiger. Robot opener into early immortal production. More probes going to be going down. 4 probes so far, pretty good damage. Replicant is going to be forced out. He's going to be shut down. And we have Replicant going for early drop play. Okay, so he's going for his 1-1-1 early tank production, which is normal, but we have a medevac on the way. So it looks like we do plan on moving out earlier on. I don't know how much support he's going to get from Tiger, just because of the early immortal production. I mean, we'll see how this all comes together. I mean, that is a lot of immortals early on. But we are going for a delayed Twilight Council. Twilight Council's on the way. Replicant does take care of this Naga. Waiting for the medevac. Medevac has arrived, and there is that tank drop. Yeah, and likewise, Tiger moves out as well to support. Does move out. And again, this is a pretty terrifying army early on. We have the tank. We have the 2 immortals as well, making his way towards the natural base of Goblin. And they do miss this. I mean, they see the army pushing to the center. So when Goblin trying to get in position, uThermal once again is going into battle mech. Tank does siege. And just like that, mining is being denied. Yeah, Goblin earlier, he was losing mining time in the main base, now losing any kind of mining at the natural. 0 economy here. The tank does punish. Yeah, this is a brutal position. Prism has arrived as well. Likewise, dropping into the main, once again pulling Goblin apart. And Goblin is being bullied here. Probes are going down. Likewise, Natural's under fire. Now, thankfully, uThermal does help out, and uThermal, he will help defend. Main base is going to be safe. I can't say the same about the Natural, though. Yeah, with the Immortals, with the tanks as well. The Natural's going to go down. We see Goblin catching reinforcements. Not bad. Getting a tank. I'm loving the use of his army. Gets across, delays the 3rd Nexus. It's going to be a cancel. Sorry, there's going to be a kill, not a cancel. Nexus goes down. Catching an Immortal as well. Okay. Yeah, Tiger Replicant, they've not noticed their rally here. SCVs are falling. Goblin achieving a lot across the map. At the same time, DT's getting into the bases. Now the main army pushing towards the natural base of uThermal. I mean, this army is still really robust here. I'm referring to the Immortals, referring to the tanks as well. It's still a terrifying army. Can't be dealt with. uThermal catching a Zealot. Catching a Stalker. Ooh, the Marines overextend. And not bad. Yeah, an overextension there. A bit of miscontrol from a Replicant. Tank goes down. Immortals go down. Do they break out? They hold on. Whew, okay. With that red team, they hold on to the base here. Oh, God. They hold on to the natural base of uThermal, but what about Goblin? He lost his natural, he lost probes earlier in the main. I'm afraid to look. It was 43 probe kills. Goblin down to 3 probes. It's a 1v2. At this one, it is a 1v2. It's going to be uThermal up against the blue team, up against Tiger Replicant. Goblin has been dealt with. He has a long way to recover here. Now, Goblin does have these Stalkers, and Goblin was doing really well earlier at catching Immortals and catching tanks. But at this point, it does feel like uThermal and Goblin are all in. Just because Goblin has no longevity. Like, he has no longevity in this game. He's on, what, half a base, if not third base economy. Oh, the Dark Tunnel follow-up is brutal. So, towards the natural. Denying some SCVs. Denying some mining. At the same time, oh, then we're poking in towards the third. Siege. Replicant, he is secure. So is Tiger. Our setup. As Goblin does listen to the main, gets a tank. As well, did you leave Goblin alone? Oh my god. Goblin, he just wants to mine, papi. He just wants to make some probes. Ay. How many? 46 workers have gone down. That's an extra 3 probes falling. Goblin trying to resaturate, trying to get back into this game. He's getting up to our 1 base economy. He's getting there. BC into the main base. Replicant once again embracing the mech. Thermal's holding his own. Likewise, nice kiting here, picking off some zealots, catching out stalkers. uThermal is trading well. He's getting some nice pickoffs. But alas, together, Tiger, Replicant, they can overwhelm uThermal. He does need some support. I'm sure uThermal, he's feeding, I'm sure he's feeding Goblin as well. To help catch it back up. Another Dark Templar into the main. Yeah, just forcing a recall. Likewise, Cyclones are going down. They do get some lock-ons off, but once again, just like the last game, we have Mass Tank Immortal. I'm still, like, this composition has its place. Like, again, it's very, like, high impact, high damage, and I guess because there's no zealots, because there's no opposing Protoss, I guess this is just more powerful. True. And there we go, tank boys going off. The Cyclones ML GG gets called, and with that, Tiger and Replicants, they tie the series 1-1. Whew, GG. They tie up the series. We're going to the ace match here. Again, a very intense game early on and picking on Goblin and crippling Goblin and just turning into a 1v2. Unfortunately, unfortunately, uThermal and Goblin, they weren't able to see the army pushing at a time enough to delay or to stop it. They did see it with the Zelnaga, that is true, but they weren't able to engage ahead of time. And with that, the tanks did go within range, and there is a brittle position there where you can deny mining at the natural, at Goblin's location, at Goblin's natural location. He was a more exposed player, and with that, he was overwhelmed. And now we're getting into the ace match. We'll see how this story ends, as up next we're leading into Reclamation as game 3. Let's go. Oh, they Replicant. Let's go. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have our red duo here. We have a red duo of uThermal and Goblin. And the intro is, it doesn't say their names, but you know, we gotta have the fanfare, gotta have it. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have our blue team. We have Tiger and Replicant. Let's go. Now, this map is a little bit different in a sense, where we still have shared naturals. True, the natural bases are shared, but the main bases are more isolated from each other. They are not shared, so now we can potentially have some more aggression, more harassment, be more successful here in each individual main base. Likewise, we did see a more aggressive build last game from the blue team, from Tiger Replicant. We did see them go for an earlier push, earlier aggression with the early 1-1-1 into medevac, into tank drop, alongside the 2 immortals. What I will say though is that unfortunately on this map, the natural bases are more defendable. They're less exposed. Remember, last game on Rascallion, there was a position where you could siege up the tanks and deny mining at the natural base of Goblin. Here, the natural bases are more secure. This time, the mineral lines are, with their back against the wall or back against the main base, they are safer. So an aggressive build like what we just saw isn't going to be as effective here on Reclamation, specifically. So we'll see how they adjust and what we go for this time. Also, it's a little bit weird to see Tiger expand away from himself. Like, does take the base on the right hand side. I guess to expand further along on the right as well. So players are building up. We'll see uThermal scanning for proxies. As once again mirrored builds. Do have our CC on location for Replicant, likewise CC on location for Mark as well, for uThermal. I say good. I guess I'll get rid of part of this. Hold on. That's fine. Okay, there we go. So in 2v2, our staff nameplate does cover some things. For now, we do have our Stargate opener. So once again, Stargate opener from Goblin. I say once again, it did go for this in game number 1, going for the initial Oracle to harass across the map. Likewise, all for the first time, Bio out of uThermal. Let's go. It's been mech time and time again, but this time we're going into a 3x follow-up. There is no starport. This is actually quite aggressive. This is a very aggressive build here. This is working towards earlier stim, earlier combat shields, and an earlier push, I would imagine, from uThermal. Okay. So uThermal is mixing it up. Meanwhile, from the side of Tiger and Replicant, likewise, they're mixing it up as well. This time, no Robo Opener. This time, Twilight Council into Blink. So Tiger's also being more mobile, going into earlier Blink Stalkers. Meanwhile, our Terran player, likewise, Bio as well. Okay. I do appreciate this. I appreciate that, for the most part, Game 1 and Game 2, our players had similar roles and similar styles, but here in the Ace match, both teams are mixing it up quite heavily here. They are mixing it up. Oracle into the main. Stalkers are in position. Tiger does defend. Stim is on the way for both players as well. And we have a 2-1-1 setup here from Replicants, a 3-1-1 setup here from uThermal. So uThermal, he will have the higher marine counts. Meanwhile, Stargate opener also into Blink from Goblin. So Blink Stalkers from both Protoss players. And Bio from both Terrans. So are going to be settling in. We just see the Goblin moving on the right hand side. Is pushing. At the same time, uThermal just still building up his Marines back at home, still just banking them up. Third base on the way for Goblin. Goblin poking in, but so far no major forms of aggression from either player. Goblin setting up all the stasis fields. Let's go. Stasis traps underway. We have Glaives as a follow-up for Tiger. Interesting. And he does pick up a couple of Stalkers, but he does overextend. Yeah, there's just too many Stalkers. Tiger cannot fully engage, has to pull away, has to retreat. He's moving out with his own double drop. Again, I appreciate the change of pace. Speaking of double drop, Replicant doing the same. Uh-oh. Can Great Minds think alike? uThermal's moving in, so is Replicant. Meanwhile, Goblin does maintain the center of the map. There we go, double drop into the mineral line. Probe's going to be going down. At the same time, here comes Replicant. Also into the bases of uThermal. Boys are being pulled. SCV is going to be going down. That's going to be a lot of damage. No, oh god, every single SCV is going to be falling here. A brutal damage. uThermal, he did pull the boys. With that, I believe Tiger did slip away. Checking the install tab, you have Tiger, he lost 4 probes. He pulled away in time, only lost 4 workers. uThermal lost 20 SCVs. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, again, a rough response here by uThermal. I don't think that was quite worth it. Players are setting up. Players are setting up. Moving up with another drop. I mean, hey, this drop was quite successful, but there we go. One medevac goes down, second medevac goes down. Nice clean up here from uThermal. Does make up for his earlier losses, at least somewhat. As we are setting up for another drop. Liberators on the right-hand side. Goblin does shut them down. Nice movement. uThermal does force back the main army. With the drop. And from here we can take a moment to take stock. So we still have Mass Wing Stalker out of Tiger, now going into a Dark Shrine. Working towards the Bay, working towards Colossus. Meanwhile, Biotank out of our Terran player. When it comes to our economies, Goblin has been mass probing. So Goblin, he does have the stronger economy so far on 3 bases. Remember, the 3rd base was late for Tiger. Saturation also late as well. So macro-wise, Goblin looking solid. From the side of uThermal, he is still behind in SCV. So uThermal, he was crippled earlier, so he has less economy to work with, less of an army to work with as well. But again, the late and delayed 3rd base for Tiger is concerning. It's not like he's lost probes, I think he just hasn't been making them. He has not been probing. Despite gearing up towards better upgrades and towards what should be a longer game state. And speaking of, this 3rd base is going to go down. I mean, it was barely saturated to begin with, but Tiger, he's almost 2 base all in. Oh, it's got good. He just hasn't been transferring. Inefficient mining, so he just didn't transfer. Didn't transfer over. He's just oversaturated at his natural. There we go, Macedonian into the main. Tiger being just being torn apart. Yeah, Stalker's going to be falling. Tiger tries to engage. Prism goes down. And from here, uThermal even just taking the fight head on. There we go, now force big up. At the same time, Replicant also breaks out. He at least tries to. Oh. Catching out some Stalkers. Goblin, he has no splash damage. He has to rely on those Zealots. But he's running out. Does kite back, buying more time, extra warpins. And Goblin, he does hold his own. And as opposed to the previous game, this time again, it feels like Tiger is a non-issue here. He has some Stalkers, he has some Immortals, but is stuck on 2 bases. Tiger is not able to add much to this. Stalker's coming from behind now, sacrificing on top of the tanks. Yeah, tanks are going down. uThermal sims in. He goes to the Immortals. And where's the splash damage? We had the Bay long ago, but the Colossus are still on the way. Yeah, it's a little bit too late. A Tiger making 2 Colossus at a time, but they're not a part of this fight. And uThermal and Goblin, they've done it. They've done it. They break on through. The boys are being pulled. SCVs goes out. Now we get the Colossus. But again, it's too late, Pappy. It's too late. We needed them earlier. The Colossus, they come in after the 3rd bases have been going down. After the 3rd bases have been broken. With that, uThermal sims in, takes down the tanks. I mean, the Colossus, they trade well, they kite well, but there's nothing else here. Bases are denied. Behind this one, mass expanding. Goblin getting a 4th, uThermal getting a 5th base even. uThermal getting his own 3rd. They sim in, they take down the final Colossus. And the blue team has been broken. And with that, GG gets called, and uThermal and Goblin, they take the series 2-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, intense back and forth, and I appreciate that it went all the way to the ace match. Here in the ace match, again, it did feel like Tiger was maybe getting to his own head. We saw that I think it was just a misrally, where he just wasn't rallying towards his 3rd base, so his economy was much lower than it otherwise could be, or otherwise should be, so it felt like he just was one step behind when it came to everyone else. We did have a Replicant popping off. He did cripple uThermal's economy, that is true, but he was still able to maintain like a more efficient army, so it did feel like he was still in a better position compared to Tiger. Goblin was getting out of hand. Goblin straight up, like, he was just mass expanding, like he was being left alone. Like Goblin was I would say almost the MVP of that game for his team for a lot of moments, I should say. So a stark contrast compared to what we saw in game 2, where Goblin, he was just being bullied and he just could not mine. He was just out of the game early on, but here he could thrive, and GG well played with that. They do take the series, they advance on into the next round. For those that are curious, this is a quarterfinals match, sorry, round 16 match, but now we're headed into the quarterfinals, where they advance on and they face off against another duo, a very shameless duo. Let's go. We have uThermal and Goblin going up against Shameless and GG Machine. Oh